Welcome to minute 23 of One More Minute series. We're almost halfway, we're almost at the halfway mark. I think we're like 3 episodes away, 4 episodes, whether you count this one or not. Yeah, I think I finally figured out what I want to do, starting once we reach the halfway mark, is I think I want to react to the other videos. So we're just going to react to this first section, this first half of videos. So on the 27th video at the minute, we'll react to the first minute and just keep doing that throughout, because the whole purpose of this project, when I thought of it, was one, I just thought it was a fun idea to add a minute every week to a video. Technically, that's kind of interesting to my brain. But also just, this was like the first project I feel like I focused on, of trying to just like get active and putting myself out there and talking about what I'm working on, and like just like putting things out into the internet, because that was something I shied away from for a while. So I'm interested in like looking back at these older videos to see what it looks like. Maybe nothing has changed at all, but I think there is I think there's more of a comfortability I feel talking to the camera now than I did when I started, and maybe that comes across and maybe it doesn't, I don't know. But I'm just interested in watching that. So my plan is to just I'll watch the video on my own time, and then I'll record and kind of react to it in this video. But I'm not going to do anything, like I'm not going to show the old video, just because that's too much work for this project, when I want to do minimal work for this, because I have so many other things going on. This is a low commitment project, so I'm happy with it, me just talking about what the video was and then responding to it if I have additional thoughts, and just like reacting to it in that way. So I'm really excited about that. It's also like we're 2 weeks into January, which is wild. Christmas seems like so far away. My winter break seems so far away, even though it's the second week back at work. Yeah, but I hope your new year is off to a good start. I've been realizing, I think I've been seeing like there's been so many posts recently. There's always like a lot of, not always, but I think each year there's more and more pushback towards the like grind mindset of a new year. It's like, obviously this idea of a new year, and you want to get into gear and get your life together and like be ready to start and run up a hill, basically starting January. And this year I'm seeing more pushback on that, which is nice, of like, it's okay if you're not like, you don't have to set goals, you don't have like this year, like your new year can start at a later time. Like for me, I feel like I'm bigger on my birthday of turning the new year older than like this calendar year. And there's other new years that exist as well, and not just this one that's January to December. So it's interesting to see that on social media and on the internet. And it's been like what I've been feeling before the new year was very much like it's time to like slow down. Like it felt very much like a packing it in, like we're just kind of like easing off the gas pedal a bit. And I thought when January came, it would be not like an intense like grind, like go go go, because I didn't want to do that. But I thought it was gonna be like a let's just hit the ground running in a not grinding way. But what I've been finding, which has been actually really nice, because there wasn't a pressure to do that. It was just more like, I'm interested to see what the vibe, what's the vibe, you know, of 2026. What's the vibe of January this year? And I feel like I've cracked what January is meant to be, at least like for myself, of like, I am working on projects, I am being active, but there's no pressure to it at the same time. Like it's very like, I'm still slow, and there's no force or rush to it. There isn't a push to do things. It's just like doing things out of a desire, but doing it at my own pace. And it's been feeling really like revitalizing. Like I'm starting to feel like I've never been able to work out the winter months. I think spring is nice. You're starting to like the sun's coming out, you get more active. Summer is like you just try to live your life as best you can to the fullest until it gets cold again. And I feel like autumn is still enjoyable, but then as it gets colder, for me, I always just like, I freeze and I get really angry, and then I feel like everything falls to the side, and then the spring we pick it back up and try again. I feel like this is the first year where I'm like, okay, it's starting to get colder. Let's like follow that. Like, let's like move with the seasons, wind down a bit, slow down. It's okay. Slow down, stay warm though. And now that I'm in January, I'm like, oh, I have slowed down. I'm at this like nice, restful place where I'm just like, I'm gonna get what I need to get done. It'll be fine. And there's no immediate rush or need to like get it all done all at once. And I just feel very like, I feel like I'm almost capturing the essence of hibernating, you know? And like for the longest time, I have always wished I could hibernate in the winter, and I feel like I'm finally starting to be like, this is what hibernating is for me, I guess, as a human and just as an individual, of like being able to slow down, do what like brings me joy, stay active in ways that feel good for me, but like just like ease up, you know, and keep easing up. And at some point we'll pick it back up when we feel like ready to do that. But like right now I feel very like, I'm tired, but I feel like well rested, like in my soul, and like, yeah, just like everything's slower and it's nicer. Like I feel like I would get so angry at the sun going down so early in the day, and it was really frustrating because it's like I want the sunlight. Whereas now it's like, okay, it's dark, I'm not gonna leave the house because it's dark. It's nice to not have to do that, actually. And like to then go outside when it is sunlight during the weekends, when I can go outside during the day. Yeah, it's just a nice, I feel like I'm just like, I'm sitting and observing this month, and it's been really good so far. It's been 2 weeks, and normally I don't like January because it just feels like the longest month in the world. It just doesn't seem to end. And I feel like this month it feels like a regular month. Or like even if it's going slow, I'm enjoying it. So yeah, I feel like I've just like cracked the code on that one. I feel really good about it, and I'm excited to like continue this year. Like starting this year from where I'm at just feels really good, because I feel ready, I guess, and excited to see what happens for the rest of the year, you know? So yeah, if you're experiencing something similar, that's awesome. And if you're not, that's okay too. But yeah, having a great time. And yeah, I've been working on projects. I am busy. I think right now my busyness is really coming from Twitch streaming, because ever since coming back from my holiday, I've been streaming so many times. Like I have to actively force myself to take breaks and not stream every day of the week. I think it's just really nice. I think building that type of community is really nice. It's really fun to meet great people when you vibe really well, and I've been playing games that are just so much fun and great. So that's what's been like taking up most of my time, is Twitch streaming. So if you're interested in joining us in that, my channel it's twitch.tv/donetrash. It's a good time, and I'm hoping to kind of prioritize my focus on like building up that stuff, like setting up a Discord and getting all the, like just updating my emotes and all this stuff on the channel, getting things running in a nicer way, because right now I was just kind of like using what I've got, which is totally fine. But I'm ready to like prioritize and focus on there just to make it nicer and meld with what I'm working on, you know? So that's taking up most of my time, and then I'm also still working on my Dragon Age deep dive videos. Still editing. I've begun editing my first reaction video reacting to a film, which is taking a lot longer than my regular videos, which is really interesting, but I'm starting to kind of see what the process can be for me, which is nice. It like takes longer because you're reacting to, you know, an hour and a half thing. And then I have to learn how to like edit it and make sure it's like not gonna be copyright claimed and all that stuff. So it's learning all that stuff. It's fun to learn, and I'm enjoying editing it. It's just taking longer, which is okay. But that's, and then just doing podcast work, which is just a regular thing in my routine now. So that's really nice. I'm grateful that I got that into my routine before taking on other things. Yeah. So we've got that. And then what else am I working on? My Etsy rebrand for my shop, which is coming out next week, which is really exciting. I think I've got my new logo. I think I've worked on branding that will do for now. I'm still trying to like learn how to make things nice and appealing to the eyes. I think I'm getting there. It's like something that I'm just noticing that I'm not the best at. Because it's just something I feel like visually I'm like, I can't tell. I'm looking at this, but I can't tell if it's supposed to do something, or what I'm supposed to feel when I see it. So that's a skill I'd like to learn in like the next year or so. I think that'd be nice. But yeah, working on rebranding, and then I need to finish one more item for this rebrand, and then that'll be all ready to go next week, which is exciting. And then it'll be just really figuring out how to create a routine around that, of developing new ideas and products that I can sell in my shop that I'm excited about, but that doesn't bog me down too much. So yeah, that's been really good. It's been really fun. I've still been reading. I've still been drawing. I'm almost done with my Haikyuu artwork, which I'm really proud of. I've got one more character that I'm finishing off, and then I'm just going to retrace everything to make sure the shading and the lines are all good and clear, and then I want to scan it so I can use it for other things, but then I want to frame that picture because I'm really proud of it. I really like it. It's a nice thing to like be a fan of something, create art for it, and then have that as like my thing, because you put all your passion into that item, and then you've got it, you know. I once had I'm big into Lore Olympus, which is a webtoon, and after I'd finished reading a bit of it, but while it was on a break, I had crocheted like a Lore Olympus themed scarf, and just like having that, even though like it was just like the color patterns of everything, and just having that scarf with those color patterns brought me so much joy to be like, I have this thing that I made that's in reference to something else that I love. I think that's so cool. So yeah, almost done with that. I've started playing the piano. Yesterday I did my first week of my goal for 2026 of practicing the piano once a week, so I'm gonna do that again today. And that's really it. I next need to start working on my food Bible. That's something that's on my mind to kind of start prioritizing, just like working on that section, which is probably like breakfast, like my breakfast options. What does that look like? How do I set myself up for a good day? That's the plan for that. It's coming. We'll get there. I think, what am I waiting on? I think just like moving. I think right now I feel really not bogged down, but like I feel like I have my things set for what I need to do and what I need to focus on up until moving. I think February is going to be a really busy month for me, just with traveling and doing a lot of things. So like January's been spent working on my projects consistently, trying to keep that consistent, and also packing, getting ready to move to a new place, and just balancing all that. But yeah, that's been good. And then I had another thought and I've lost it, but that's all right. Yeah, I'm packing. I've started packing. I've always been someone, which I feel like I've said this a million times, but I've always been someone who's packed like the day before I move. And like I know in my head what I'm gonna do, but then I like pack, it's all immediate, and then I'm like, oh my god, I don't have enough packing materials, or I'm running out of space, and it can be a little stressful. Now that I've got like a month and a half to pack. I've like started packing and I'm like, oh, I think I have everything I need packing material wise to pack everything, which has like minimized my stress because I've been just trying to make sure I only need one van to move. But like being able to like spend time and figure out things I want to donate, things I can just throw out, and things to keep has been really nice. And just kind of like taking the time to put things away and to just like see it packed up is actually a lot nicer than I expected it to be. I thought I would hate seeing like all my stuff packed away and just like waiting, but it's actually been really enjoyable to kind of like clear out and clean up things. So that's been really nice. I've been enjoying it. It's been like a slower process as well, which I'm not used to for packing, and it's been really, really nice. Oh, and I remembered what I was gonna say before is my period started early, like a few days early, which was like a surprise to me because I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting this. But it was actually really nice. I was like, oh, this is perfect timing because now I won't. There's like a party coming up, and I was worried I was gonna have my period during the party, and that wasn't gonna be fun. But now that's in the clear. We're fine on that. And the way it's gonna line up if this stays consistent is I'm doing a trip to Greece later in the year, and now with this shift, I don't think that will line up with that anymore either, and that's just really exciting to me. And it won't line up with my birthday either. So it was just like a nice gift. Like it sucks having my period, but it was a great like, oh, this is like, it felt really aligned. I was like, this is just a nice little gift from my uterus, I guess. But yeah, it's been good. Just chilling and trying to like enjoy life, enjoy things. Yeah, this week just, it feels like a blur. I've generally, all I've been doing is Twitch streaming. All I've been doing is playing Date Everything and like fitting in work and my projects around that is what I've been doing. And that's okay, you know? But it's been a really nice experience. I feel like when I'm streaming, I don't come across differently, but I think playing video games really shows this like how, for me, I can see when I play video games, I'm like observing how my brain is working during these games because I forget what I'm doing constantly. I have no idea what's going on. I'm bad at making the right choices in like role-playing games. It's really funny. I like misread, I misunderstand things and what's going on in games all the time. So it's really interesting to like stream that and have people watch that. And like, it's weird because I think in everything else I do, I feel like I present myself as like a put together, like just like really put together. Like I've got my shit sorted. And in a way I do. I'm a very organized person, but I'm doing that because if that's what helps my brain. I'm trying to remember if we talked about this last time, but I don't remember what I was saying anymore. Yeah, that's fine. But it's nice to like play games that way and kind of like show this other part of myself of how I play games, and people enjoy that is really nice because I think being raised, it's not necessarily how I was raised, but I feel like there's an expectation to just be like put together. I don't know if it's like a gendered like woman thing of like being presentable and like, you know, clean, not taking up a lot of space, all that stuff, and like being able to play games and just kind of be all over the place a little bit more feels really, it's different, but nice, and it's a good experience to be like, you like people still like hanging out with you, you know? That's really cool and very rewarding, and I'm like grateful for the community we're building over there. It's really nice. Yeah, and then I don't remember if I talked about this in last week's episode, and I don't think we did because I think instead I'd hit on a different revelation I had while talking about food. And I don't remember what that was anymore either, and that's okay. But when I was playing the game, it must have been, maybe it was last week, one of the characters in Date Everything that I've been streaming was just had this whole thing about lists, and like he like struggles to remember things, and my character suggested you make a list, you write down the things you want to remember, and then it's like obviously you struggle with remembering to write it down, you know, and getting into that habit. But the character said something of like, oh, when I do write something down and make a list, it makes me feel like I have control over my thoughts and my brain. And that was something that really sat with me, because I'm a big list person. I have a list of everything. I list everything. I write down everything. That I've discovered early on, that's how I could, like, I think even as a kid, I was making lists for no reason. And like realizing now that because of what that character said, of like it helps you feel in control of like the situation in your brain, I was like, oh, that's what I was doing as a kid, is like just trying to like sort out my thoughts, you know. And I think in a practical way it makes sense, obviously, because it's like an organized thing. It presents well, you know, having lists, being organized. But like it was a nice revelation of like, oh, that's the, I think I've always just been like, why, like my need for organization and lists really does come from like it's not coming from that practical place. Like it is a big benefit, it really does benefit me, but it really started from that need of like taming this mess in my head and feeling like, oh, I can like glean a sense of what I'm trying to capture in my thoughts by making lists, you know, and try to build the life I want based on what my brain is spewing at me all the time, by making lists. And that was a really nice revelation. And that's why I love video games. And why I think video games are really helpful. And Date Everything, though it's a silly game where you date objects, they all have their own different little storylines that I think people can really connect to and relate to depending on where you are in life. Because there are certain characters that I'm finding where I'm like, that just like hits home. I really relate to it, and it's nice to see how they handle what they're experiencing in that game. And this has now become a pitch on why video games are awesome and can really help with like mental health and how to interact with other people and be a nice human being. And that's the beauty of the One More Minute series. This is great. Yeah, we're almost to the end. I hope you have a great week. If you're still listening and watching these, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This has just been really fun. It's been a great experience. I'm also looking forward to it ending, but we're going to stick it through to the whole year. And that's how we're going to end it. And I'll see you next week.